think why I'm feeling a little bit bored in this book. Oh, there's 295 pages in this book. Like, what else? Okay, so I'm bringing a bag, an extra bag. I have my pen, notepad, and then my wallet peeking through in the bottom here. I'm gonna bring this fan. So hopefully it's charged, just in case I need it if I'm walking outside. Okay, I'm heading out to the store. Tell me why I got to the book like shelf at 3:49 and it's 4:31. I'm finally leaving. There wasn't even a lot of books there. I'm not really sure what took me so long because I was barely online for checkout for 5 minutes. So the majority of the time was just looking at literally 2 shelves of books, and each shelf had multiple copies of the same book. So there wasn't even a lot to look at. I really love the sound of this book. So I just stacked up the new books from Dollar Tree, and they're like, I don't know, it's just super colorful kind of seeing it like this compared to like all like the surrounding books. I don't know, it's just pretty to me. The sun might be in the way. Sorry about that. Okay, so first book we have is Wicked as You Wish fantasy book in the modern world. I really like the Wicked as You Wish is an unforgettable alternative history fairy tale series about found family, modern day magic, and finding the place you belong. So this one feels like a good fit because I've been reading a lot of fantasy back to back. Next you have
We Are Inevitable. It's gonna follow Aaron and Hannah here at the cover, and then we have Chad here as well. This is kind of giving like, it seems like it's gonna be very wholesome and light, and I really like that. Even in the face of extinction, life and love finds a way. I just love that, and it doesn't seem like it's gonna be that big of a read, so possible. Then we have Royal Holiday. This is a romance book, which is good because I've always been wanting to read romance. I eat up romance in TV, movies, video games, comics, graphic novels. Like, I eat that shit up. But in a book format, I don't know why I don't like it. I've done middle grade, I've done YA. This is giving adult, so we're gonna try this instead. And also it's giving like romance between unlikely people. We have some strong contenders here between Royal Holiday and We Are Inevitable. Next we have 7 Days of Us. This is quarantine family. They're all kind of doing their own thing. Only the most extraordinary circumstances can reunite the Birch family for the holidays. It's during Christmas time, so it's giving festive, as well as the Royal Holiday as well. And there's an unexpected guest that ends up coming in. I don't know. See, with every book, I'm like, maybe this one. The other two that I know I'm not going to read is Secrets of a Marine Wife. This is one that I went into remembering the most about out of all these books, because I bought these back in like what, June or something. I cannot remember, and it's December now. And out of all these, I remember this one the most. True crime, true story. Tells us true story of a young Marine's wife whose illicit affair ended in tragedy. And I already said I didn't want to do mystery thrillers and stuff like that, but if I was going to do that, like, that's kind of fine. But this is like that, but on a larger scale, because it is based on a true story. So it's a lot more real. You can't really hide behind the fictitious words, stuff like that. And I think this is only the 3rd book I own of like a true story, true mystery crime. So, like I already said, I'm not in the mood for that right now, because I've been reading that back to back for like the past, for like a good month and a half-ish post-reading slump. So we're gonna do something light. So that means we're also not gonna do Dark Roads, because this one's like murder mystery, disappearance, a sister trying to find out what happened to her sister, and at that time this other girl goes disappearing, and it says that Beth's search for answers puts a target on her back and threatens to reveal the truth behind Haley's disappearance. And Beth has a sister, Amber, who was murdered at this like little town. So that means we're not going to do Secrets of a Marine Wife or Dark Roads. At first I was like, I'm gonna go with this one because it's fantasy, but I think it's actually between these 3 here. And I think it's kind of like, do I go with the lighter option and try to fit 2 books in this video, or do I go with 7 Days of Us? My best bet is always to read the first chapter, or not the first chapter, the first page. At the very least, you can do the first chapter, and I've done that, but because there's 3 choices, I think I'm going to do the first page, and then we'll see from there. This is so hard. I read more than just a page for each of the books. Oh my god. Sorry. They're all good. My original goal was to split these 3, so do a part 1, part 2. We could do 3 parts. The other 2 parts would just be post New Year's. I have a lot of stuff that I need to do just in general in life, and so I don't know if I can fit. This might be one of the weeks where I can only fit maybe just a book for the entire week. Sometimes I can get through a book or 2 books within a week to a week and a half. Sometimes on a really good day, especially when I'm recording, because I like push myself, I can do about 4. It's more like we'll see. So I'm like, I feel like I should do the smaller book. So Inevitable was $266, Royal Holiday was $295, and 7 Days of Us is, so 354 pages. All right, you'll know by the next clip which one out of these 2 I'll be reading next, but these are options. Okay, so I have to leave for work in about 30 or so minutes, but I wanted to give you my thoughts on Royal Holiday. I haven't been reading this as much. I originally filmed when I don't even remember if I said this was the book that I was choosing, but I'm reading Royal Holiday. And what was I gonna say? What was I gonna say before I lost my train of thought? Oh, I haven't been reading this as much because I'm also trying to read and catch up on a book club book. And so I've been reading that, and that's like, I'm reading it digitally, so it's a little off. I think digitally is 260 something pages, but I think the book is actually 496. I just searched it up on Google and that's what it said it was. But digitally reading on my iPad, so it's like a split thing, so it's like 260 something. So I'm reading this primarily at work. So if I have a little time before work, since I work in an after school during like snack time, I can sit and read during that like 40 or so minutes as well. But a lot of things are happening, so I really don't have that much time to read. So I'm only on page 13, and today is Friday. No, today's Thursday. Sorry, today's Thursday. I'm on page 13, and we just got introduced to the characters. We have the mom who gets a phone call from her daughter, and her daughter tells her that she's gonna do this thing with her career in London because the person who's originally supposed to do it is pregnant and can't actually go ahead and do it. And the daughter has said that she'd never spent Christmas, away from her mom before. And she doesn't want that, like, this to be like the first time, and that's not something that she wants to happen. So she invites her mom. Her mom's a little hesitant, she's getting like, she's climbing the ladder a little bit in her job, and also like her mom has these like sisters, and she has relatives, and she's just thinking about like different aspects of these people. And she's like, oh, I can't leave this, I can't leave her, I can't leave him, da da da. One of them being her sister Jo, who has cancer. So she's very worried about leaving for a multitude of reasons. But eventually her daughter convinces her, and we're up to the part where they like get to the place, and like the staff member is like showing them the room, and basically is talking to them and telling them like, oh, this is that, this is this, here's where you're gonna stay, that sort of thing. And then the mom just wakes up to a note from her daughter, and her daughter like had left, I guess, to start working and stuff like that. And I'm up to the part right where the note ends. And so, yeah, right at the top of page 13. Yeah, it's going okay so far. I feel like in terms of this book, it might be a little disappointing. Hey, it's Thursday, and you're only like at the top of page 13. But in regards to me reading like 2 books at the same time or in between, I think that I'm having a really good reading week, and I kind of wish that I merged this video plus the other vlog that's going to show me reading the book club books, because then I feel like it would be a really good reading week in terms of like page count and all that stuff. But it's totally fine. I don't know whether or not which one out of the 2 is going out first, but that's where I'm currently at in this book. That's where I'm currently at in my little reading life. Yeah. Anyways, I'm packing up. I'm about to go leave, but that is my little update for Royal Holiday. Hi. Don't mind the hair. I'm getting ready for work. But here's my little update of Royal Holiday. I started this book and this video last week, Monday, but all of last week I was reading my book club book from Monday to Friday, and that was a 488-page book. So I was only reading this at work, while every other time of my day last week was for the book club. And then now this is the second week in. We're on Thursday, and I'm finally back to picking this book up again. I'm on page 90. I did some reading this morning, which was really, really good. Similar to the book club book, this is also another Black romance book, which is good because I don't read romance in general, but it's good that I'm reading like 2 Black romance books back to back. I will say this one's much easier writing style, because the book club book, which you already know because you saw my December TBR, Sweet Heat, the writing style was very like stream of consciousness and flip-floppy, so there was a lot of parts where the sentences were run on, and some of the chapters and the sentences were being like dragged on, and I didn't really quite like that. So this one's a much easier read and much easier like time to get through in terms of the writing style. I am just a little bit bored, but I'm gonna push through reading the book and we're gonna see how I feel. I'm hoping to try to finish this by this weekend, and I'm hoping to like get through because today's Thursday, then we have Friday, then we have the weekend, doing some, I'm gonna do a little bit more reading before I leave in like 30-40 minutes, but tomorrow doing some morning reading, and then I have the weekend as long as nothing's going on to just read for the whole day. This is only 295 pages, so I really should be getting through this book a lot quicker, but like I said, I'm feeling a little bit bored, so I'm feeling a little bit disinterested as I'm reading it through. But I will say, in terms of like the romance aspect of the book, it's like things are happening, like they realize that like they like each other or feel some type of way, and then they're having a bunch of like these different outings and like little hangout sessions, so like horseback riding, let's go out for lunch, all these different things. So that's gonna help build up their like attraction to each other more based on like them spending time with each other. So I'm on page 90, so I've about like what 200 and a little over 200 pages left. I'm gonna read for another 10 or so minutes before I have to finally get ready for work, and we're gonna see, hopefully by the next update I am like nearly at page 200, because I really do want to finish this book. I think why I'm feeling a little bit bored in this book is because there are no stakes, so there's nothing for me to look forward to in the book. I think with Sweet Heat, which is like a second chance romance, getting back with your ex, you had this plot point of the main character girl Kiki being the bridesmaid to, you know, her best friend, and you have this whole wedding that you're supposed to look forward to throughout the book, because that's what the whole thing was about, right? And then you have her ex Malachi, who is the best man of honor, whatever, right? And then they're also doing this sort of like passion project in that book, so they have more opportunities to like be around each other other than just the wedding, and those are what you're looking forward to by the end of the book. Those the reason why they're so close to each other physically is because of like those two different plot points. And even if it's like you might not like totally care about the wedding or totally care about this like passion project that they're doing in the book, that is being used as a tool to like get them together, and then we get all these like conversations and stuff, and then sneaky link and all that type of stuff with each other. But with this book, you don't really have that, so I think that's why I'm bored. There's no stakes, there's nothing that I'm really looking forward to. I think the only reason or the only way so far the book is being like driven forward and like, you know, there is some sort of momentum is that they want to hang out again, send these letters to each other, and then they go ahead and hang out again. So we get another outing and another outing. And there's a bit of repetition with that, and I think that is why I'm a little bit bored, because it's like horseback riding, then we're gonna go do this, and then we're gonna go to lunch, and I'm just kind of like nothing else is really happening, you know, other than that. And like I said, there's no like stakes, nothing really pushing it forward. I think that when you have like the appeal, I did say this in the beginning because I was like, okay, you know, usually you would be like, okay, the fashion stylist and the boss is like who these like romances would be about, but it's not the case. It's the fashion stylist's mom and it's the boss's secretary. And I was like, oh, that's very unique. I've never like seen something like that, read it or watched it in like TV shows and movies. And I was like, okay, this is like an interesting take from two unexpected I guess positions and people and stuff like that. And plus these are like, you know, it's an adult romance because these are like older people. I don't remember how old Malcolm is, but the mom, she is like 50 or 55 or something like that. But I think that's just kind of where the appeal and the uniqueness and interest ends. So I'm very curious to see what else this book has to offer, and if anything else is going to happen that like turns it to being interesting, because so far 90 pages of 295, there's not really much of that. I think that's why I'm a little bit bored. There's nothing else to hold my attention other than just like the romance aspect and I guess the hanging out part, which is being used as like a tool to have them get to know each other more and things like that. So I think that's why I'm a little bit bored. But like I said, I'm going to push through it. I'm going to try my best to finish it by this weekend, if I have the time to, because I think I just kind of want to move on. But I'm leaving a little bit early so I can go get food. So because I'm going to be eating before work, at work, I won't be able to physically sit down and read. So we might pull out the book and read for a little bit. But other than that, that's my thoughts so far. And I will catch you guys if I have any other updates. Hello guys. When the last time I talked to you guys? Do not know. I'm on page 108. I think when I last talked to you guys, I was like on page 90, so I did not make very much any progress in maybe 2 or 3 days since I talked to you guys. It is currently Friday right now. It's like 11:01 p.m. I just got home like 10:15, 10:20 something. I'm so tired, but it is the weekend, and I usually sleep in on the weekends and stuff, so it's kind of like, girl, try to read a little bit more. I'm gonna aim just to finish this chapter since I stopped in the middle of a chapter, and then we'll just gauge from there. Yeah, we're kind of doing the same thing that I talked about. We're now, back at horseback riding. This is the second time they're going horseback riding together. It's just like a lot of the same scenes. And I find that in like Malcolm eyes, he sees like Vivian does something, says something, or she smiles, and then he realizes that, he's smiling, or like through the narrator, it's like, oh, Malcolm looks at Vivian and he can't help but smile. We're getting a lot of that. And then for like Vivian, the mom's side, it's like anything, she's like, oh, I want to do this with Malcolm, or I want to see Malcolm again, or I wish I can XYZ XYZ. But then that same note, she would kind of be like, but am I taking him from his work? He's so busy, like of course we can't hang out again. Or like, oh, I can't possibly ask him to hang out again because, like, he's a secretary to the queen and all that stuff. And so it's a lot of that, and I'm just kind of like, oh, there's 295 pages in this book. Like, what else? What else are we doing? The book is not irritating me. It's just kind of like, I think the slowness of all of this is irritating me. Yeah, if I wasn't so busy this weekend, I would just do like a 24-hour readathon or something. Like, do something for me to just like block out a good amount of my time and just read straight. But I have a lot to do this weekend, and so I don't know if I'll be able to do that, but we'll see. There is 2 days in the weekend. I'm a little over it. I think I need something quick to read. Anyways, like I said, I'm gonna at least finish a chapter, and then we'll kind of, see from there. But if not, I'll aim for like 11:30, 11:45 bedtime. Looks like this chapter ends at 117, and I'm on 108. So there's my little update. So I'm on page 138. It is 11:33 now. Vivian's stay is being extended by, I won't spoil too much, but she's gonna stay longer So it kind of makes sense why there's still a lot more left to go, because after this Christmas Eve dinner, which is right now, she was supposed to stay in London for like a couple of days and then go back before New Year's. But because she's going to be staying longer, and that just leave more time for her and Malcolm to spend with one another. I don't know, I'm still really not invested in it, to be honest, but we're gonna just push through and read it. I did go on Libby to go ahead and find this book, but it's a 5-week wait for it. So, because I have a lot of stuff that I need to do this weekend, so I thought I can go on Libby and listen to it through the audiobook. But I did manage to find the Inevitable book. I can't remember the full title. 7 Days of Us, which was another Christmas book that was like the family trapped and have to quarantine together. And I also found Wicked As You Wish, I think that's what it was called, all on Libby, and I borrowed all of them like 2 days ago or yesterday or something like that. So I have 21 days for each of those books. I just did it because I was like, okay, once I finish this book, or if I am doing something where I kind of want to read but I can't physically read, so let me do an audiobook instead, I can pick one of these other options. And because they're like, I believe like 7 to 8 hour audiobooks, I was like, oh, I can finish that in a weekend, and that way I might end up getting 2 books done for this video. We'll see if all that even works out. My eyes are practically falling asleep, so I'm going to go to bed now, and we'll just kind of see what the weekend looks like. But I really, really hope I find time to sit down to read, because I don't want to go into this upcoming Monday, and that'll be the start of week 3 with this book. Like I don't want to do it. Please, I don't want to do it. So this is a leftover cold brew coffee from yesterday that I heated up in the microwave for about 1.5 minutes with some French vanilla creamer and sugar. It is taking me forever to read this goddamn book. How about you? So sorry to the book though. You feel it, you feel it, can you feel it? Can you feel it? Can you feel it? Can I'm home. I'm finishing this book tonight. Can you feel it? Can I finally finished Royal Holiday. Thank you. Unless I'm gonna put this, add like a review section in post, I'm gonna just kind of give my review now, not the way. I'm rating this book a 2.75. I'm giving Royal Holiday that rating due to the content. I mentioned it before, but I felt very bored. I like the more adultish romance. Very new to me, and as my second romance since like middle school that I've ever read. Like, what a step up. But yeah, I was just kind of bored. I think near the end, I mentioned earlier, like, oh, there's no really like no stakes, nothing that's like, aside from just the romance part, that is like interesting. Since the beginning, we find out that Vivian is gonna get a leg up in her job, promotion, XYZ. She's like acting director, but there's a possibility that she could be it permanently. the end really focused on that part, and that was interesting. But also it was all the way at the end in terms of like what her feelings about that was, whether or not she was gonna take the job. So like the bulk of the book is just a hangout, then the next hangout, then the next hangout, and the next hangout. And I think that's just, in terms of romance book, that's just not for me. I think I need something else in it. So that was that. Now we're gonna pick up We Are Inevitable. I have this already on Libby, so you can listen to this book on our way to work. Let's go ahead and start, I think, potentially another romance book. But let's go ahead and start our second and last book for this video.
Solitude. The next morning, Ira drops a stack of books on the counter beside me and announces, 1st of November, time to begin a new unit. Who said anything about paying you back? But I don't answer when the chat continues. There's more than one way to skin a cat. There is.
Don't look at my forehead. The video before this, I'm filming the outros at the same time. Yes, it is the exact same. Do not look at my forehead because... Anyways, yesterday I finished We Are Inevitable, which concludes this video. I was only going to work on this video for about a week, or work on this video or film just for at least one book, which was Royal Holiday that we read earlier. However, because I was filming other stuff for Vlogmas and I was able to push things around, I did manage to squeeze in another book before this video has to go up. And also, this is the last video for Vlogmas, which is like literally crazy and insane. Anyways, thoughts on We Are Inevitable. I'm probably giving this book a 3-star rating. I was going between 3 to 3.5, but I think a solid 3 is good. I haven't read a male POV or male-centered or male main character book in a very long time. In terms of like male main character, male-centered and stuff. Night, Kite Runner, what else? I'm thinking I can't remember from the top of my head. Aristotle and Dante. Like, there were very few male-centered books that I've read, and very few male-centered books, romance books, that I read, because I just don't read romance in general. So with male POVs, it's even less than that. So I quite like this book in terms of that. I definitely like this one better than Royal Holiday, in terms of like there was a stake in the book, and there were various different things that got me intrigued. One, it was between Aaron, the main character, and Chad, who's in this wheelchair. Their relationship, friendship that they built, got me very intrigued. At some point, Aaron and Hannah, the girl on the cover, kind of, but like I was less interested in the formation of their relationship compared to Aaron's relationship with other people. So that being Chad, that being his dad Ira, that being Ike, and the men that were helping kind of like restore the bookstore that Aaron and his father run together, but Aaron has like ownership of mainly. And there was this kind of stake of like the bookstore failing, but then Aaron secretly selling it and not being able to tell his father, but then all these other people enter his life that also want to like help this failing bookstore And then so then there's more people other than just his father that he has to reveal to that he sold the bookstore already. And then when he's kind of having this realization that like he's made a mistake and he's like rushing against time to like back out of the deal or find a way to pay out so the person he sold it to won't get the ownership of the bookstore anymore, or just the building of the bookstore resides in. You know, there's another stake on top of that because it's like running against the clock. And so I really like this. And with that said, we have officially finished this book and we finished this video. I'm definitely gonna do a part 2, part 3, or however many parts, whatever, come 2026. So if there's any books in this video that interest you earlier that you heard about that you want me to read, let me know. If you come across this video, I would really appreciate it. And with that said, this is the end of Vlogmas. Thank you for sticking around, and I can't wait to see you soon. All right, happy holidays. Bye.